It looks like a H1Z of some description. I just fired my missile. This is the lock-on, by the way. It's automatically tracking the enemy helicopter. I'm not touching my mouse. It is currently automatically tracking. And soon enough, it just crits. Interesting. Got his tail. And he's done. Hello sexy beast and welcome to the rare webcam recording. It is currently 5:35 AM. I haven't slept in almost 24 hours and I just got done re-streaming the patch 1.93 dev server. In fact, we are still on it right now. As you can see in the background we have the Ka-50. Now before we go into the video topic itself, I want to show you something quite nice, which is the update to the protection analysis viewer. So now, or at least when the patch drops, you will be able to more accurately simulate what a shot would actually do to a vehicle and visualize it properly. So for example, say we pick the Asus 1 of the smallest vehicles in the game, and put it up against the 183mm hash shell of the FV4005. Well, now I can actually see the shell coming in, what the shell looks like, and actually the size of the shell in comparison to what it is hitting, which is really quite nice. I like this a lot. So, what would be the most ridiculous thing we could come up with? How about we take the smallest vehicle in the game, the Talon L333, and we put it against the biggest projectile. You might think the FV405's 183mm shell is the biggest projectile, but oh no. You see, there is this little rank 1 Russian events tank called the RBT-5, which just so happens to have two massive 250kg rockets. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, they are counted as projectiles which you can use in this armor protection analysis viewer. Now I want you to pay close attention to the size comparison between this vehicle and the 250kg rocket, which by the way will appear as a HE shell. Yes, you saw that right, that is the actual size. This thing is tiny. That rocket is not. That rocket is almost the size of this entire tank. So I'm actually going to attach a guidance please here. Guidance please. Consider including bombs in this new protection analysis tool. I kind of want to see what it would look like to drop a 5,000kg bomb on the swing repeatedly in the hangar. It would be absolutely glorious. Now, I've been spending the last, I don't know, 5-6 hours, even more perhaps, yeah, way more than that, playing the Ka-50 on the dev server. And I can with full and utter confidence say one thing. This helicopter in the state it's currently at, if it launches it like this, if it comes to the live server like this, is going to be the most brokenly overpowered example of pay to win. The Ka-50 is the newest premium helicopter for the Soviet tech tree, and it's incredibly powerful against everything, essentially, for a couple points that I'm going to touch on in this video. Now I want to make some things very clear. I am very much against what this thing represents right now. I'm very much against Gaijin's continued push towards pay-to-win vehicles, and honestly I'm very much against anyone buying this. This will likely completely break helicopter balance, or well, the little helicopter balance that still remains in the game right now, which is really not a lot. This will completely dominate helicopter EC and probably GFRB as well. That said, I know full well that most of you guys are going to be buying this thing because of course you are. And if the game is going to go down in shitstorm, at least I want a cut of it. So I'm going to leave my affiliate link in the description down below. If you want to use it for a 3% discount and my decal, feel free to. I appreciate it. It supports me myself as well. Now we're actually going to be starting off with the negatives of the Ka-50, which there are actually two. One it does not get thermal vision. You might think it doesn't make that much of a difference for helicopters, but in this case it really does, and that is because of the second drawback, which is the incredible amount of zoom. You see, one of the biggest issues that the Ka-50 actually faces is spotting its targets, and that is because of the amount of zoom that is available to you. In the gun view, you either have no zoom, or an incredibly overpowered amount of zoom. There is no in between. In fact, you can see the square in the center of my sight. It doesn't change the size. No, that is the zoom. It zooms in that much. Now, given that it zooms in that much, it actually makes it hard to spot targets at medium to long ranges. You get quite a bit of tunnel vision with this. This, combined with the lack of thermal vision, makes it pretty hard to actually spot enemy helicopters flying at treetop level. That said, that is pretty much where the drawbacks of this helicopter stop. Everything else from here on out is just a pure benefit, and the whole combination of the package makes this thing incredibly broken. Firstly, the Ka-50 features the same gun as on the BMP-2. This is a 30mm automatic cannon, which does also get access to the HVAC belt with up to 100mm of penetration. As you can tell, this is more than enough to deal with most MBTs from the sides, from the top, from the rear, some even from the front, given that you can get close enough. Now this already sounds pretty damn powerful for what is a helicopter, but there is a bit of a drawback here. The gun has a very limited arc of travel. As you can see, it's mounted here on the side of the helicopter, and it can't move too much upwards or downwards, nor can it really move too much to the side. In fact, if you want to even use this gun against your targets, you have to keep it towards the right side of your helicopter. But given the rest of the armament of this helicopter, you really rarely, if ever, are actually going to use this, what is a pretty amazing gun for a helicopter. The Ka-50 gets access to some of the most overpowered loadout in the game. Specifically, this one right here. And whilst yes, you can in fact carry Eagler air-to-air missiles, you really do not need them. These ATGMs are special. Not only are these some of the best ATGMs in the game, given that you can carry 12 of them, plus 40 heat rockets, which are very effective in helicopter EC against bases, for example. They have a very high velocity. In fact, this might just be the highest velocity out of any helicopter-fired ATGM at 600 meters per second. Makes it reach long-range targets pretty quickly. Of course, it also has a maximum fire range of 10 kilometers, so it can actually use that speed very effectively. If all of that was not enough, these ATGMs are also airburst. You heard it right. These are the only helicopter-fired missiles with airburst at the moment. Air-to-ground missiles. What is supposed to be air-to-ground missiles. Mouse-aimed ATGMs. Not only that, the blast radius is enormous and the damage is huge, meaning that if you get anywhere near an enemy helicopter, they are most likely going to die in a single shot. This makes the air-to-air missiles kind of obsolete, really. The only real use for the air-to-air missiles would be against enemy planes in the area if you're playing in GFRB and can't really react quickly enough with the ATGMs. But honestly, it's not really worth the trade-off of losing 6 of the Vickers missiles for only 2 air-to-air missiles. You're much better off simply trying your luck with the Vickers missiles against aircraft as well. If they fly straight towards you, you can simply shoot them down in third person. You don't have to directly hit them. Getting close enough is enough. This comes in combination with a new mechanic that is being introduced to helicopters in 1.93, which is a sort of automatic aiming system. Now, this system is actually pretty nice. It essentially allows you to lock onto a target, and as long as you keep visual contact and you keep the target within the range of where you can actually aim your ATGM properly, it automatically guides that ATGM to the target. This is very useful for stuff like the Hellfires, for example, which have been at least notoriously buggy up until now. With this new mechanic, Hellfires are actually extremely accurate even against moving targets and really quite useful. The problem is you can actually use that system against helicopters and aircraft as well. And in the case of helicopters, it means that you can lock onto a helicopter from 10 kilometers away, fire your ATGM without giving a warning to the enemy player, because it's an ATGM, it's not a lock-on air-to-air missile, they won't get a missile warning. Take your hands off of the mouse and the keyboard and let the missile guide itself to the target, and given that they are unaware of the missile incoming, guarantee yourself a kill essentially. With the 10 kilometer range and with the incredible amount of missiles you can carry and the airburst capabilities, there is pretty much no point to air missiles anymore. These things outrange them. You can fire them from third person, you don't need a lock-on. You don't need to waste the time warming up the lock-on. These can't be evaded by flares. They can be just regularly evaded, but a skilled pilot can manually guide them in the general direction and thanks to the extremely powerful airbursts, still get the kill. Now of course it's easy enough to talk about this, so how about I show you what I mean. We're going to go into random battles, do some live gameplay, and hopefully I will be able to show you what these missiles are all about. Alright, there's actually a pretty good amount of people in this battle, which is unusual for the dev server at this hour. Hopefully we have a few enemy helicopters we can take advantage of. In fact, there's one right there. It looks like a H1Z of some description. I just fired my missile. This is the lock-on, by the way. It's automatically tracking the enemy helicopter. I'm not touching my mouse. It is currently automatically tracking. And soon enough, it just crits. Interesting. Got his tail. And he's down. I just killed a AH-1Z with pretty much zero effort. In fact, there's another one. Fired my missile, hands off the keyboard, I'm just adjusting my elevation so I don't crash into the ground. I don't even need to look. We just killed... Okay, we just died ourselves to the Tunguska, that's fine. Still got a hit on that AH-1Z. There's so many people trying to spam out the Ka-50 that... Oh god. We're just getting mixed matchmaker over and over and over again. There's no escaping this. There's no escaping the Ka-50 spam. You want to play the Ka-50, you're going to have to face enemy Ka-50s, which is probably the only way this thing is going to be even slightly balanced if it goes into this release in the state it currently is. The only thing that can really effectively kill a Ka-50 is another Ka-50. With the same missiles. Anything else? Good luck getting close enough. No, I'm actually going to try... Be a bit farther away. I think that one is a bit closer, yes? That is an enemy Ka-50. I'm not sure if he is aware of us. We're actually going to aim this one manually. Ah, I missed that one. That's fun. Keep aiming. We don't need the direct hit, we just need to get close enough. And there we go. There might actually have been a direct hit, to be fair. I am not too sure. We'll go down again. I think there's another Ka-50 trying to ATGM us right now. I want to see if I can use the locking system. There we go. Lock on. Can we lock onto him again? Yes, we can. So the missile was still in flight. I didn't fire another missile, but it was able to reacquire the lock. That is the benefit of being able to switch between manual lock and automatic lock. And there we go. As you saw, that missile was nowhere near him. That missile was nowhere near him. The explosive power, the blast radius of these ATGMs is just absolutely insane and makes mincemeat out of any helicopter so long as you can get the missile close enough. Now, you can actually evade him. You can, in fact, evade him. If you pull fancy maneuvers, if your helicopter is highly maneuverable, if you fire enough, you can evade his missiles, sure. Especially the automatic system. The automatic guidance lags a bit behind. It depends how fast the helicopter's going, really. If you get too close, however, or if you're not aware, given that you don't get a missile warning for these, let's just say it can quickly go sour. It's very easy to miss one of these things being fired at you if you're not paying very good attention and you don't know where the enemy is. And as such, it's also very easy to get swatted out of the sky. with little to no input at times. Like, the pilot of the Ka-50 does not exactly have to be the best aimer in the world. If the target is unaware, simply has to lock on. That's all you need to do. Lock on to the target, fire the missile, and it will get a kill for you by itself. If the target is aware, of course, you have to manually guide it a bit yourself and aim it, but it's really not that hard to learn. It really is not that hard to learn. And it becomes a game of just positioning and being able to surprise the enemy. Coming from spots they aren't expecting from. I believe that Ka-50 might actually be aware of us. So we should be paying attention here. He might or he might not. I'm actually going to aim -1 manually. I don't think he's aware of us now. And there's his tail gone. That's a kill. I believe there was a second helicopter around here somewhere. Yep, there is. I'm even going to let this one aim itself manually. I don't even need to aim. This guy's not aware of us. He's not traveling fast enough. We don't need to care. Got my hands up in the air, and we got a crit. He's firing at me as well, though. So let's do evasive maneuvers. Lock onto him again. And he's down. That's a building. That's really how easy it can be with the Ka-50 and how frustrating it is to actually see this coming to the game. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm really enjoying myself. But I am afraid of what this thing will actually mean for real battles. It's all fun and games on the dev server, but once it comes to proper battles where people need to grind, where people need to survive the insane silver line cost of just trying to play top tier in the first place, this thing is going to be extremely frustrating to play against. Or even play with, because imagine you are a low tier helicopter without ATGMs, without air-to-air missiles. Imagine trying to grind through the helicopter tech tree when you have all of the disadvantages. You have none of the advantages. You don't have these insane missiles. You don't have air-to-air missiles. You don't have flares. You don't have any of that. What are you supposed to do? I mean, sure, back in the day you could maybe try and escape to helicopter EC. As it stands, it was already infested by premium helicopters firing AAMs and flares everywhere, so you couldn't really do much there, but you could at least still do something. Now? Good luck. Good luck trying to achieve the least bit of RP if you don't have anything with ATGMs or air-to-air missiles or flares. In fact, flares are going to be completely useless against this thing. Air-to-air missiles, if you can get close enough, you can make them work, although the Ka-50 does get flares. ATGMs? Yeah, sure. Problem is, most of the ATGMs are going to have a very short range. The Ka-50 is going to have triple your range. Double to triple your range in most cases. In fact, I'm not even going to go into another battle. This is just enough. I think I've shown you guys enough. The Ka-50 as it currently stands simply cannot get into the game. Something has to be done about it, or it will be an absolute pay-to-win shitstorm. And I don't take this word lightly. This is a proper example of pay-to-win. This is a proper example of simply buying your way into success. It makes being a helicopter player quite easy. It gives you all the power for little to no drawbacks, and it simply unbalances an already barely existent balance between helicopters. Nothing much is going to change for the tanks, perhaps. You already had helicopters with massive amounts of ATGMs, very high penetration ATGMs. Okay, this one carries 12, up to 12, and they are quite good, but they're nothing really game-changing for the tanks. The mechanic might be, but I think that's going to be mostly affected by Hellfires being much more effective now, so that's actually kind of a buff to AH-1Zs, for example. But against everything else, against helicopters, especially against helicopters, there's nothing that can destroy an entire team of enemy helicopters quite like the Ka-50 can. It simply isn't. G-Links? Good luck trying to get into range to even use your weapons. before this thing swats you out of the sky. Even planes aren't safe. If a plane, for example, forgets to turn off the radar and gives away its presence, the Ka-50 simply has to turn around. It doesn't need a lock-on time. It can simply fire a missile from third person, aim the missile from third person, and just get it in the general vicinity of a plane to get an airburst explosion and a kill. It might die itself in the progress, sure, but planes are a lot more expensive to spawn than a helicopter. You're likely going to be winning that equation. As such, Gaijin, please, please, please do something, anything about the Ka-50. Perhaps remove the lock-on system from helicopters and planes. It really isn't going to be doing much of a difference, but at least it's going to make it slightly less brain-dead easy for the new players that are just going to flood the market with this thing. Perhaps consider, and this is really the only thing I can really see them doing, reduce the blast radius of the missiles by quite a bit. They're simply too good right now. They should at least be less than 1 or 2 meters away from the enemy craft before they explode. Otherwise, they're just way too easy to use. They're just way, way, way too powerful right now. And it's honestly depressing to see that. It's worrying. It's worrying. We're in an era of War Thunder updates where quality control doesn't exist, balance doesn't exist. We had to fight for months for just getting a 10.3 battle rating now with the recent patch, and even then, that is not enough. That is by far not enough. And I have a feeling it's probably going to be months until we see the next top tier battle rating increase. We went from the promise of War Thunder never selling top tier premiums to us literally having a 10.0 battle rating, best in class helicopter being sold as a premium. For sometimes as little as $35 if you already have one of the previous packs. The Hunter F9 is also coming as a premium. Hunter F9, the FGA9, is also coming as a premium to the British tech tree. War Thunder seems to be surviving off of selling top tier premiums now, and is absolutely wrecking any resemblance of balance this game ever has. I know full well that British team, Jet team win ratings are going to be absolutely going down the drain because of the FGA9. It's not going to be an easy plane to fly. That one is the case of being able to buy your way into top tier, but not buying a plane that is really overly competitive at that tier. It's going to result in a lot of new players not really having any idea what to do with the plane, especially since it does not get SRAMs, and it's going to be dragging down the entire British matchmaking essentially. The Ka-50 is the contrary of that. The Ka-50 not only allows you to go into top tier right away, it also allows you to be extremely effective at that top tier. Even if you don't really know what you're doing, you got the targeting system that automatically guides the missiles towards your target. You don't need to do it yourself. Be it tanks, be it helicopters. You're going to get kills, even if you don't know what you're doing. It's kind of scary. Now imagine these things being spammed out. That is what I'm afraid of. That is what 1.93 is going to be. Do you want that? Do you really want that? So despite what I said at the start of the video, I am actually going to ask you if you have any respect for top tier and if you really want any change. Because let's be honest here. Gaijin, they mostly care about the money here. If you don't buy the Ka-50, hopefully something will change. But the problem is, people keep buying these things. I've seen the stats of my affiliate link. I can actually see what people buy. People keep buying these flavor of the month overpowered pay-to-win premium vehicles because it makes life easy. It makes life fun for you. It makes it absolutely terrible for everyone else. And because people keep buying this, we keep on seeing more and more and more top tier vehicles being sold as premium each and every patch. I haven't even counted how many premium vehicles have been announced in this update alone. Honestly, I think I've seen more premium vehicles than tech tree vehicles for the first time in a long time. It's getting scary. And this is not the last update this year. Oh, no. They shown off 2 preview vehicles of the Swedish Air Tree, right? The J29, which is already up for pre-order, of course it is, and a Finnish BF-109 clone. The actual Air Tree for Sweden is coming out in patch 1.95, which is likely coming before Christmas to capitalize on the Christmas sales. So they are already selling a Swedish jets before we even have an Air Tree for it. Do you get the idea? I think at this point I'm just rambling, really. I don't really know what else to say. I haven't even shown everything I want to show about the Ka-50, but this video is already getting way too long. I'm tired. I'm honestly tired. I've been wanting to do a rant about the game for a long time. I was very disappointed with the state that patch 1.91 arrived in. Lots of bugs, lots of issues, just blatant lack of quality control. By the way, and I'm not even making this up. I'm remember the Swift F7? Remember how they mentioned air-to-air missiles for the Swift F7 in its dev block? It's been over a month since the patch dropped. It still doesn't get its missiles. The one thing that set this plan apart, it still doesn't have them. This is a 1.93 dev server. Unless we see a second dev server where they suddenly magically appear, and I very much doubt that, given that their focus seems to obviously lie on selling as many premiums as they can. It's just another broken promise. I'm getting tired of this. I'm generally getting tired of this. I'm getting frustrated with this. I'm getting... I don't even know. It makes me sad. I've been playing this game for over 5 years now. I remember playing when there wasn't even the there were no tanks in the game. I remember the launch of the Ground Forces beta. I remember my first April Fool's event, the Godzilla giant monster. I remember that fondly. I have so many good memories with this game, and it still is an amazing game to play, don't get me wrong. I've been having a shit ton of fun playing the lower tiers. I've been just pretty much avoiding the higher tiers like the plague. But the problem is, we've always known that top tier is a shitstorm. We've always just known it's a shit show, really. And we could avoid that. But the problem is, all of this is starting to trickle down to the lower tiers as well. The lack of quality control, the constant bugs, the massive problems with the economy. I mentioned this on the Twitter post earlier. Once again, a broken promise from a past patch. They promised a rework of bomber repair costs, reducing them massively. Except, well, they instead increased them further with a recent update. Now, according to War Thunder, they actually officially responded to me on Twitter. Those are separate things. The bomber repair cost update is still coming in the future. It's not off the table. But tell me exactly what the point is then of if the bomber repair cost reductions are coming in the future, what is the point of increasing the repair costs now even further? When you clearly know that system doesn't work. That whole system is automated. It makes no sense. That's the thing, it simply makes no sense. Many things in this game don't make sense. Ramble over. You know what? I'm not even going to bother anymore. I'm going to be making a separate video talking about all the issues that I have with the game. I probably shouldn't have done it in this Ka-50 video, but there you go. What can you say? I actually want you guys to tell me what you have to chip in. Specifically what you think about the Ka-50 in this regard in the game as it is right now on the dev server. I'm really hoping for a massive nerf for this thing, or otherwise, holy crap. It's going to be a bad time to be flying anything else about this thing right now. Tell me what you think about the Ka-50. Tell me what you think about the other vehicles. I might be able to leave a link to the preliminary patch notes in the description as well, so you can see what is getting added. And well, on to Christmas, I suppose. On to 1.95. fix the game in 1.95, except they definitely won't, because it will be in a whole new tree. Honestly, if they don't do something special for War Thunder 2.01, I don't see myself having much of a future with this game. Many content credits are already dropping out as it is. And as much as I enjoy playing this game, and I will continue playing this game, as it is, I already barely do content on it. Partly because of this. I don't see myself doing much content on War Thunder anymore, if this goes on like this. It's just... It's not worth the few hairs that I still have in my head. Let's just say that. Anyways, lads, this has been the long and tired, now 6:30 AM ramblings of a very, very, very tired Portuguese boom man. I'm going to go straight to bed. Probably pass out. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like rating, I very much appreciate it. If you didn't, let me know why. Although probably by this point you're not watching anymore, so it's kind of redundant. If you're new around here, subscribe. I guess I will have to stick with War Thunder a bit more, but I'm definitely going to try some other games. We'll see. I always say this, but then I disappear for another month. It just never really cycle. Oh god. As always, lads, my name is MikeGoesBoom, and I'll see you in the next video.
Your head up to the sky. Take a deeper breath and give it time. You can walk the path among the lines with your shattered frame of mind. Or instead you could always stay. We can wait right here and play until somehow you can find